trying to tell me that this is okay for Christians to support? Like, no, dude. Like, evil spirits. And again, I was into this franchise, okay? I was allowed to watch this as a kid. There's also Children of the Corn. Just saying, a dishonorable mention. That movie's very demonic too.
Let's get started.
You know it's gonna be a good episode when K.M.B got his backwards hat on. So let's get it started. Okay, so I know, like I said, last episode, most recent last episode. Because I got this is the 79th one. I got 79 episodes out now. So, but on last episode we talked about on Halloween and stuff like that, with trick or treating and stuff like that, and Christians we struggle with this holiday, especially you. As I said it before, like, you think about it as like these certain things that you shouldn't watch or shouldn't do or whatever, or you gotta think, or some things that might be okay, or you think about. And like I said in the recent pod, I said it before, if it's like something is on your mind that it's not good, then don't watch it, then don't do it. Like I said, to me, trick-or-treating, as long as your kid is dressing up something as something that's not demonic, I think, me personally, I think it's okay, because kids have dreams, okay? Kids want to be police officers. Let them be a police officer for Halloween if that's what they want to be. And I know God made you for who you are, but you also got to think there are careers out there. You know, like, I'm dressing up as Real Talk with K.M.B today because that's who I want to be when I'm older, man. Enough is enough, though, with the jokes. Let's get this pod started. Today we are going to talk about, or episode started, I mean. Today we are going to talk about horror movies, okay? So I'm going to name 5 horror movies that, in my opinion, that you should stay away from. Like, don't even watch them, dude. Some of these, I watched them. Some of them, I just paused, told myself, I will never watch that because of the title, or because of the picture, or the cover, I mean, or of what the description is of the movie. And there is movies that, to me, in my opinion, I mean, I'm not going to say they're faith-based movies, because, of course, they're horror and stuff like that. Maybe one day they'll make, like, a horror Christian movie where God comes in and saves the day. And, you know, no one dies, and or people get healed and miracles happen. Maybe one day that will happen. But for now, again, there is some movies out there that are realistic, and yeah, they're not faith-based, but at the same time, though, they're not so demonic. It's more of, you're going against a murder, if that makes sense. You're, like, mystery movies. You want to find out who the murderer is. You want the murder to be stopped. So, movies that I am not going to mention, though, is Friday the 13th and Halloween and stuff like that. Those movies, I'm not going to say are too demonic, but they are demonic. Because you are rooting for Michael Myers, you are rooting for Jason to kill these people. You want to see these murders. That sounds psychopathic. But, again, you're rooting for these murderers to come back. You're not like, what's her name? The woman Michael Myers is obsessed with. You're not like, yeah, kill him finally. You're just like, oh, let's see him finally get her in the end. Like, let's be honest, that's what's going through your mind. Okay, so first movie that we are gonna talk about is The Exorcist. The Exorcist is a very, very demonic movie. I actually never sat down and watched the whole movie. I'm probably never going to in my entire life sit down and watch the whole movie. Most of the scenes that I know from The Exorcist is from Scary Movie 2, if anybody knows the beginning of that movie. And yes, I know that is not a Christian faith-based movie, and it probably is a very raunchy comedy, because it is, but whatever, we're not on that subject. We're on horror movie subject. Most of those scenes from that movie I know is because of Scary Movie 2, so I know the whole, like, the woman the daughter is possessed by a demon, and a pastor tries to save her, and she still is a demon, and does anyone even die in that movie? I never watched and sat down the whole movie. All I know is that us as Christians to stay away from that movie, okay? It supports witchcraft, it supports demonic thing, and yeah, you can say, like, oh, but they brought a pastor in. But did Jesus save that girl? Did those people go to Christ? Did they, like, praise the Lord when the woman got healed? I don't even know if the woman did get healed from the demon. I don't No, like I said, I never sat down and watched the whole movie. I just know it was a whole bunch of witchcraft. So if I was you guys, I would stay away from it. Okay, like even if you look at the cover of that movie, like just stay away from it, dude. Next movie that we are gonna talk about is The Ring. Another movie that I never sat down the whole movie and watched it. Most of the time that I know the plot to this movie is because of Scary Movie 3. If you guys can tell, I watch more comedy movies than horror movies, kind of. I'll get to that. So the movie The Ring, basically you watch this tape or whatever, and then you get a phone call. This is from Scary Movie 3. I don't know if this is 100% true of the movie. I think they probably change up some things here and there from the movie, but basically you watch this tape, you get a phone call. It says you'll die in 3 days, yada yada yada. Sorry, if I'm about to laugh, I'm probably thinking of a scene from Scary Movie 3 with the phone call. But back to the story though. So you get a phone call, it says you're gonna die in 3 days, and next thing you know, the woman comes out of the TV and kills you and stuff like that. Again, very just demonic. You know, you watch this tape and this possessed demon comes out of your TV and kills you. Like you're gonna try to say like that's not demonic, bro. Like that's cap. Another movie that I did not even try to watch. I couldn't even stand watching the trailer. The fact that the movie theater put this movie in their theater and the fact that people went to go see it. And I'm glad it didn't blow up like it shouldn't. It's called Pray to the Devil. The fact that you put that as a title, the fact that you made a movie called that, I didn't even look up the description. I could even care less for it. At least I barely watched the trailer. That right there, that title right there, just says to stay away from it. Don't even try to watch this. Okay, a movie that, as a kid, this is where I was about to mention about watching horror movies growing up. My dad is a huge horror movie fan. He watched the Friday the 13th, the Halloweens, the Screams, yeah, some of them, and or a lot of horror movies. And I'll admit it, as a kid, I was huge into it. I used to love the Friday the 13th, the Halloweens, the Scream franchise I still like, the Saws and stuff like that. And I'll get to those movies later. But I got more into thrasher films than horror demonic movies than now. I was never into the whole Annabelle and the whole Conjuring and all that, and all those like where the things are possessed and they possess people. I was never into that, but I was into the whole like psychopath murder, killing people and stuff like that. I'll admit it. I was one of those people. Okay, I did like those movies. I grew up watching those. But back to my story though. So Nightmare on Elm Street. Okay, as a kid, I tried to get into these movies. Okay, some of them I saw, some of them I didn't. You know, I was kind of into them. I did watch them and stuff like that, but looking on it, if you guys want to look it up, someone made a whole video about how Nightmare on Elm Street is very demonic and stuff like that. Go check it out. There's a whole bunch of videos about it. And it truly is. You know, this guy that was a child molester, you know, got burned to death and stuff like that, and the whole town hated him, and he kills innocent teenagers. You know, they're just teenagers, and this guy comes into their dreams and kill them and stuff like that. And this dude's a monster. You know, like he's a psychopath. There's also witchcraft in this movie. Okay, like so again, you as a Christian, if you're into these kind of movies, because they are pretty popular movies, I would stay away from them if I was you. Okay, I was once in your shoes. I was once in your positions. The fact that, again, I was allowed to even watch this as a kid, like, it's just, I don't know, it's something, you just tell your kid, like, listen, it's demonic, I don't support it in my household. That's it. You give out your reasons, you know, it has no Jesus saving the day. It has it's just not right. Okay, it's not a right kind of movie. Like I said, very demonic. Last movie for demonic wise and movies that we shouldn't watch as Christians, and there is lots of them. But the one that I am gonna talk about is called Child's Play. Most people know this as Chucky, the movie, but it is called Child's Play. It's whole franchise and stuff like that, and I once sat down and watched all three of them. There is way more than just three, but again, very demonic. You know, this guy, he is a serial killer, and he gets murdered, and his evil spirit goes in this doll, and he's Chucky. And then this doll starts killing people, and even has the kid kill people. Like, you don't try to tell me this is a faith-based movie. You don't try to tell me that this is okay for Christians to support. Like, no, dude. Like, evil spirits. And again, I was into this franchise, okay? I was allowed to watch this as a kid. There's also Children of the Corn. Just saying, a dishonorable mention. That movie's very demonic too. But I'm not really going to talk about that one. But like I said, the Chucky franchise, the whole Child's Play franchise, if I was you guys and you're growing to your faith on Halloween, don't watch that movie, okay? Don't watch those movies. Same thing with Nightmare on Elm Street, all these popular franchises and stuff like that. Like, you guys do gotta put your mind to it. Gotta, like, light bulb gotta go up in your head. Okay, now I'm gonna talk about the horror films, because I know there is horror film geeks out there, okay? And again, I don't mind sitting down watching a Thrasher movie either. Again, these movies that I am going to talk about are not, I'll admit it, they are not faith-based. They are not, like, really made for if you want to grow into your faith, like, watch these movies. No, I'm not saying that. But again, if you are still into the horror movie franchise, in my opinion, these are movies that has nothing to do with demonic things. It has nothing to do with witchcraft. There is nobody coming back to life and coming as a demon and stuff like that. There is none of that, okay? These are movies that are Thrasher and stuff that can happen in real life. Things that maybe you can relate to. These are mystery films. Things that you gotta try to figure out on your own. Here they are. The movie Scream, okay? Scream franchise. As I talked about it before in this pod, I really do like the Scream franchise. I like the fact that you gotta try to figure out who's who did it, who's next to get murdered, who's gonna survive and stuff like that. Because there's some people that dies in this movie, there dies in these movies, and there's some people that live in these movies. There's people that grow on with the franchise, you know. Me personally, I think Scream is a very good, just sit down mystery kind of movie, try to figure out who's who. And to me, the acting is not that bad. Maybe people would say otherwise, but me personally, I don't think so. Another movie that I'm gonna talk about is called I Know What You Did Last Summer. There is multiple of these movies, but I'm just gonna talk about the first one. First one, you know, they spoiler alert for these movies, by the way. First one, basically, these teenagers, they were driving or whatever, and they accidentally hit somebody. And if I'm right, I'm thinking of Scary Movie, what was it, 2, I think it was, where they make fun of this movie. Or was it 1? It was 1 or 2. I don't know. They do make fun of this movie. But in this movie, I Know What You Did Last Summer, they run over this fisherman. And they were freaking out. They didn't know what to do and stuff like that. They didn't even call the police whatsoever. They threw him over in the lake or whatever. And then I forgot who the murderer was, but basically somebody found out what they did and stuff like that. And then this psychopath murderer chases them down, and you got to figure out who the murderer is. Again, to me, no witchcraft, no demonic demons, no nothing and stuff like that. And again, you're kind of in a way just trying to figure out who this murderer is. You're not saying like, oh, I know it's him. Yeah, he should kill that woman. Oh, yeah, he should kill that person. Like, you're not saying that. You're just like, I want to know who it is. How are they going to stop them? You know what I mean? So, to me, that movie's okay to watch. I'm saying it's okay to watch. I'm not saying watch it. I'm not saying, like, oh, it's such a good movie and stuff like that. I'm just saying, if you are into horror movies, to me, in my opinion, I don't see what's so wrong with watching these. The way it depends on the way how you look at watching them. The movie The Purge. The Purge is crazy because that stuff can actually happen in real life. In 2020, we actually witnessed some of these things that happen in The Purge. The only Purge movie I actually saw the whole movie of was Judgment Day, I think it was. But yeah, like I said, the Purge is crazy because it can actually happen in real life. Again, not that I recall, but there's no demons, no witchcraft in these movies and stuff like that. It's a free for all kind of movie. To me, the idea of the Purge in the movie is kind of crazy because, as I just said multiple times, it can actually happen in real life. Maybe take notes from it and try to see if you can survive the Purge. I hope till this day, I hope to God that this Purge never happens. Alright. Another movie that I'm gonna talk about is the Saw franchises. If you guys know the movie Saw or whatever, it's honestly a really good franchise to watch or good directing and good storytelling and stuff like that. This psychopath guy or whatever, I forgot his name. This psychopath guy is Jigsaw, air quoting Jigsaw because that's not his real name. He traps these people into a room and they got to figure out how to escape. You got to think that this can actually happen in real life. Like, you can actually be trapped in a room and not know what to do. So the fact that how realistic that this movie can be and the fact that this can actually happen is kind of blows your mind. Okay, last movie that I am going to talk about is this movie called Psycho. Another movie that I never sat down and actually watched this movie. I never even seen the trailer for it. I just know my grandpa, it was one of my grandpa's favorite movies. I looked it up or whatever. I looked at the details of the movie and stuff like that. Is basically some psychopath murderer trying to kill this woman, I believe. And then, and you got to figure out who the murderer is. So, yeah, I guess it's a good sit-down mystery movie. It's in black and white, though. It's from 1960s, so... You guys... I mean, I'm not suggesting to watch any of these movies. I was about to go say if you want to check it out, but... Again, I'm not supporting you guys to watch these movies. I'm just saying my take on these movies. To me, they're not so demonic, so... I don't see the problem with it. The other movies that I talked about before I started talking about Scream, if I was you guys as Christians, stay away from. But yeah. But this is also a two-parter of things. Next episode, we are gonna talk about horror TV shows, and same thing, horror TV shows that you should stay away from, and horror shows that to me is alright. Like, I don't see the problem with it. Just again, always don't forget to keep Jesus first. Don't forget to pray to him. Don't forget to thank him every day and thank him for the blessings and the fact that you're still alive and this is not happening to you. But I gotta get amen to that. So, or any of those horror franchise movie scenes never happened to you. Thank God. But pray to God that, just thank him that you're still alive, that you're doing well. But I'll see you guys on the next episode.